Good morning, everyone. Will DuPree here in the KXAN live studio. We do appreciate you all joining us on this Friday morning. It's hard to believe it's Friday. I'm starting to lose track of the days a little bit. But every Friday we are bringing you a lesson that we want to share with your kids. So if your kids are close by, gather around their screen, your phone, your computer, whatever you have handy, because we're going to be sharing a weather lesson with meteorologist David Yeomans here to share and serve as teacher.
Yes, good morning, Will, and good morning to the rest of you. We've gotten a great following for the last several Fridays with our long-standing First Warning Weather University series geared toward kids of all ages. We want to teach you and the kids about weather, especially during this time when a lot of us are off of school and maybe searching for something to do every day. So we're keeping this Friday at 9:30 series going. And today, Will, we're talking about something we all saw yesterday. I know I had some storms at my house. We're talking about how lightning forms.
Yeah, it was pretty evident yesterday.
It sure was. Yeah, and we're going to get more storms actually today. So this is a relevant topic. I think it's a pretty interesting topic. And lightning, nothing to be afraid of. I think the more you know about something, the less scary it is. So let's learn something about it today.
All right, so here's this video, First Warning Weather University with David Yeomans. So take a look.
This is how lightning is born. Even the biggest thunderstorms start off as tiny little clouds pretty close to the ground. These low clouds are made up of little drops of liquid water since the air is warm close to the earth. As rising air in the cloud brings these little water droplets higher into the sky, the air around them is colder, and this causes them to freeze. When a thunderstorm is fully developed, millions of these little particles of ice and water are colliding every second. This builds up an electrical charge. Just like a battery, a cloud forms a positive side and a negative side. When the charge gets strong enough, the atmosphere gets uncomfortable and it wants to even itself out. In just a fraction of a second, a connector forms between the two charges. And then, sometimes this connection is between two clouds, but other times it can be between the cloud and the ground. This happens when the charge in a cloud connects to an opposite charge coming up from the ground. Lightning is spectacular to watch, but be sure to do so from indoors. And remember, if you're close enough to see the lightning or hear the thunder, it's not safe to be outside.
All right, everyone, that was our video to share this morning about how lightning actually works with David Yeomans. And David, I have to say, the balloon moment at the beginning was pretty fun.
Yeah, and we'll show it again here in just a moment if you didn't catch the beginning of that, if you're just joining us. But it only took me and my producer, Eric, like 10 takes to get the balloon to stick to my head. And then I realized we didn't even explain it. But similar to when you rub your balloon on your head or when you shuffle your feet on a carpet and then you get shocked by the doorknob, doing those things, just like the ice particles colliding up in the atmosphere creating lightning, that builds up an electric charge. So that's what we were trying to show with the balloon on the head. But basically the big takeaway is inside of a cloud, a big thunderstorm cloud, it's a very tall thing. So up at the top of thunderstorm clouds, it's not little water droplets that make up the cloud, it's little crystals of ice. And there's a lot of violent motion, so there's ice slamming into ice millions of times every second. And when you do that, it actually builds up an electric charge. And what I always tell kids, every aspect of the weather and every aspect of how the Earth system works is that the Earth wants to be comfortable. So if you have this big cloud building up a big electric charge, it all of a sudden swings the whole system this way, and the Earth says, oh man, I'm going this way, I'm uncomfortable now. I've got to do something to oppose that and to balance it out. So like we showed you in the video, and we'll show you again, it builds up an equal and opposite charge, either at a different place in the cloud or on the ground. And when those two charges are big enough, they have to discharge and equal each other out, and then they do so as a lightning bolt. And for just that one split second, when the Earth evens itself out, the Earth is comfortable again. But then the process repeats itself, and you can get a lot of lightning in a big thunderstorm constantly because there's constantly ice slamming into more ice, and the cycle kind of regenerates.
I'm learning something new today, too. This is pretty interesting.
Great.
And again, yesterday we heard it, and potentially maybe today with some severe weather chance there.
That's right. Yeah, we've got a big cold front, guys, coming into Austin. We think early afternoon. So right now it's warm and misty. You see that live picture of 35 at 51st Street. The front should be rolling into Austin. The latest, I just looked at it again, about 2 p.m. When it does so, and then for an hour or two afterwards, there is a threat of some wind and hail and lightning from some big severe storms. Also, guys, the temperatures are really going to plummet. It's going to be in the lower 70s at lunchtime, 50 degrees by 5 p.m. today. And then it's going to be cold and rainy all day tomorrow with more lightning certainly possible.
Big changes coming. I want to be able to give a shout out for some people who are watching
Yeah,
us on
please.
Facebook at the moment. A lot of people are watching with their kids as we ask.
Great.
So this is hopefully something that they're learning from too. Robert and Nicole say their 8-year-old Sophia is watching. Amber Bell says she's watching with her 8-year-old as well, who loves weather. So
Awesome.
David, someone up your alley as well. A woman named Vanjie says her kid is asleep.
Oh, good for her.
I mean, it is 9:30 in the morning, so I understand.
Maybe her kid's a high schooler.
Right. And then Kim says Evan and Grant are watching in Steiner Ranch. Jennifer says she's watching with her 6 and 9-year-olds.
Great.
And then we've got quite a few compliments for you, David, so I wanted to be able to share that too.
That's very kind. I appreciate that. And if you guys do have questions that I didn't get to in the video, we're going to get to those here at the end. But do you want to show it one more time, Will?
Yeah, one more time. This is the video that David put together with one of our producers, Eric Henriksen, about how lightning actually works.
This is how lightning is born. Even the biggest thunderstorms start off as tiny little clouds pretty close to the ground. These low clouds are made up of little drops of liquid water since the air is warm close to the earth. As rising air in the cloud brings these little water droplets higher into the sky, the air around them is colder, and this causes them to freeze. When a thunderstorm is fully developed, millions of these little particles of ice and water are colliding every second. This builds up an electrical charge. Just like a battery, a cloud forms a positive side and a negative side. When the charge gets strong enough, the atmosphere gets uncomfortable and it wants to even itself out. In just a fraction of a second, a connector forms between the two charges. And then, sometimes this connection is between two clouds, but other times it can be between the cloud and the ground. This happens when the charge in a cloud connects to an opposite charge coming up from the ground. Lightning is spectacular to watch, but be sure to do so from indoors. And remember, if you're close enough to see the lightning or hear the thunder, it's not safe to be outside.
Once again, everybody, that was our video talking about how lightning actually works, which is appropriate for today given the severe weather chance. We did have a video a question, I should say, on social media from a woman named Leah, and she asked David, my 9-year-old wants to know if lightning goes both ways. Can it go down and then back to the clouds, or is it just one way? So if you can explain.
Leah was her daughter, you said?
This was Leah asking for her 9-year-old.
For her daughter. Well, hello to you both. Thanks for watching. The answer is yes, absolutely, and that's a very perceptive question. Sometimes lightning goes from one cloud to another cloud. We call that cloud to cloud lightning. Sometimes it goes from the cloud to the ground, which is what you usually see. We call that cloud to ground lightning. But sometimes, just like my producer Eric animated in that video, sometimes if you're looking at lightning, which you can do so safely inside out of a window, it looks like there's a double flash, right? The same bolt kind of pulses, boom, boom. That is actually one pulse, one strike going downward and one strike going upward, not necessarily in that order. So yeah, absolutely. Lightning can kind of trace itself downward or trace itself upward. Sometimes it does both within just a fraction of a second. And lightning is a fascinating thing. It's only as thick as about a pencil, thinner than my finger, but it's 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun, and it's millions and millions of volts of electricity. So it can be a dangerous thing. That's why we always say when thunder roars, go indoors. Kind of a silly reminder, but you can watch lightning safely inside, and inside of your house or inside of your school, any building is absolutely the safest place to be.
All right, and also today, something that is happening and we are helping out and trying to support is this fundraiser called Altogether ATX, and this is the information you might want to find out and help potentially give because this has been set up to be able to support people affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. If you're wondering what the Altogether ATX Fund is, this is what all this money is going to. It's an effort to support the community during this pandemic. The Austin Community Foundation and the United Way for Greater Austin have partnered together to create this fund called Altogether ATX. This community-led philanthropic fund will provide flexible resources to nonprofits working with communities who are disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 and the economic consequences of the outbreak. Again, this is a telethon that is happening online all day today. We're asking people to give to be able to help out people who are truly in need during this time, because as this situation unfolds and keeps bringing about different changes, a lot of people are going to need some support. So this is a way to be able to help out. And David, you all have been talking about it all morning during the morning show.
That's right, and apparently we've already raised more than $1.1 million, which is awesome.
Incredible.
Will, as you said, you can find it on our homepage, linked on the website, or just by going to alltogetheratx.org. And as Will said, if you want to help out our friends and neighbors who have lost their incomes during these hard times that we find ourselves in, folks who need employment, who need childcare, who need medical needs, or even just food insecurity, this is a really easy way to make a donation and be sure that it's staying local and be sure that it's going to the right people. It's a great way to help out our neighbors during these times, Will.
Definitely, we want to put that out there for everybody, and more than a dozen media outlets here in our community are helping out with this, and we are happy to be a part of it as well.
Absolutely.
Coming up this afternoon, I just want to tell you all, at 2 o'clock, we're going to be doing a stream specifically about this. Our evening anchor, Sydney Benter, is going to join me to talk about her conversation with the United Way president here in our area, and he's going to explain more about this effort to be able to help people in our community. So please tune in at about 2 o'clock. We're also going to carry a press conference at 2:30 with Governor Greg Abbott.
That's great, Will. Thank you so much for all your work on that. Be sure to join in for that. And parents and kids still watching for the weather segment, remember, you can always find all of these videos, kxan.com/FWWU. That's First Warning Weather University, or my Instagram handle right there on the bottom of your screen. I have the link right there in my bio if you go to my Instagram. So if you want to watch the lightning video again, or if you want to watch any of our 14 videos that we have up there anytime, it's a great way to stay engaged. Why is the sky blue? How do hurricanes form? All this cool stuff. And Will, you said that a woman commented who is watching with her 8 children. So if you need a way to keep your 8 kids busy, you can check out those videos anytime.
Hands are definitely full there. All right, well, David, thank you so much for joining us this morning and providing yet another lesson. You're a great teacher for this. So
thanks, man. We'll see you back here at 9:30 next Friday as well.
We'll be back. All right. Thank you all for joining us once again. I'm Will DuPree in the KXAN live studio. We'll see you back here a little later today. Please stay safe and stay healthy.